Welcome to Screen Scan. Today, we will delve into the 2020 movie, Lost Girls. This is a genuine story detailed in Robert Coker's book, Lost Girls, an unsolved American mystery, which served as the inspiration for this mystery drama. The main character of this film is Mari Gilbert, a strong mother whose hunt for her daughter Shannon results in disturbing information that links to a string of unsolved murders of young women. Let's dive in. The movie opens on a dark, windy night with a girl named Shannon running from a vehicle. The scene then shifts to Ellenville, New York, in 2010, where we meet Mari. Mari receives a call about her youngest daughter, Sarah, who has been suspended. When Mari meets Sarah, she asks if she's taking her medication, suggesting Sarah is under medical treatment. On the way home, Mari calls Shannon, who is frustrated with her boss. Shannon tells her mother she might come home the next day. The following day, Mari informs her second daughter, Cher, that Shannon plans to join them for dinner. However, Shannon never arrives, leaving them uncertain of her whereabouts. The next morning, Mari receives a call from an unknown doctor asking if she has seen Shannon. Not sensing any urgency, Mari doesn't provide much information. Later, Cher tells her mom that Shannon's boyfriend has called, concerned about Shannon's absence. Despite Cher's repeated calls to Shannon, there's no response. While Mari still thinks it's not a serious matter, Cher feels something is wrong, especially given the boyfriend's concern. After a couple of days with no updates on her daughter's disappearance, Mari begins to worry. Cher reminds her mother about the mysterious call from a doctor the morning they realized Shannon was missing, but the caller ID was unknown, and the only information he left was that he was in Long Island. With no other leads, they decide to report Shannon's disappearance to the authorities in Jersey City. They also begin searching for more information themselves, visiting cell phone stores where Shannon had bought her phone. Speaking with Shannon's boyfriend, Alex, they learn that she had gone to work in Long Island but never returned. He mentions that Shannon had a driver, so they track him down to find out where he dropped her off the night she disappeared. Shannon's driver, Michael Pack, reveals that he had driven her to Oak Beach to meet a guy for her work. The next thing he knew, Shannon was panicking and acting erratically. He claims he didn't interfere with her work, as he was just the driver, and he wasn't sure what caused her distress. Michael confirms that Shannon seemed hysterical, her actions increasingly strange, and she was shouting incoherently. He even tried to help her, but she refused his assistance. Mari and her daughters travel to Long Island to report Shannon's disappearance to the authorities there. Although they initially filed a report in Jersey City, where Shannon lived, they believe it's essential to involve Long Island police since that's where she was last seen. However, the police initially treat it as a standard missing person case. When Mari shows to the officer about Shannon's contact list, they notice that Shannon's last call was to 911, lasting 23 minutes. Listening to the recording, they hear Shannon asking for help. The police stated that about an hour after her 911 call, officers arrived at the scene and interviewed residents who had seen Shannon. The residents stated that they saw her leave alone with no sign of suspicious activity and claimed she appeared to be on drugs. Despite the unusual circumstances, the police remain unconvinced, suggesting that Shannon likely just ran away. The scene shifts to a police officer with his dog. He pulls his vehicle over to the side of the road and lets his companion out for a brief break. Moments later, the dog suddenly begins barking, alerting the officer that it may have found something in the field. The following scenes depict police officers conducting a search in the field, particularly because of a recent missing person report. Suffolk County Police Commissioner Richard Dormer arrives at the scene and speaks with another officer, informing him that 4 skeletal bodies, wrapped in burlap, have been discovered. He also explains the spacing between where each body was found. Later, Commissioner Dormer is interviewed by reporters, where he states that, while searching for a missing person, they uncovered 4 bodies along Ocean Parkway. However, he cannot determine whether all the bodies were left there by a single person. Mari returns to Suffolk County with her daughters to meet with Commissioner Dormer. Without hesitation, she asks if any of the bodies found belong to Shannon, but Dormer confirms they do not. He begins asking questions about Shannon's life, including whether she was involved with any men. Mari mentions Shannon's boyfriend, her driver, and the doctor who had called her. She explains that this doctor claimed he had seen Shannon, helped her, and managed a home for wayward girls. When Dormer asks if she remembers his name, Mari admits she cannot. He advises her to avoid speaking with the media to keep the investigation confidential, particularly concerning Shannon's whereabouts. Later, Cher becomes upset upon hearing news reports referring to Shannon as a prostitute, something her mother knew but had chosen not to reveal to her daughters. The investigation continues as Dormer interviews Alex and Michael. Michael provides details about that night, mentioning a man named Brewer, whom he suspects may have been involved in Shannon's disappearance. Suffolk County Police question an Oak Beach resident in connection with Shannon's case and identify the 4 skeletal remains found along Ocean Parkway. All 4 women were sex workers who had advertised on Craigslist and had been missing since 2007. Soon after, the families of other victims invite Mari and her daughters to a vigil. Mari is reluctant to attend, still believing that Shannon is alive. In the news, it's confirmed that Joseph Brewer, who had hired Shannon, has been cleared by the police after passing a polygraph test. However, 2 crucial questions remain unanswered. Who killed the sex workers in Long Island, and where is Shannon? Determined to find her daughter, Mari feels increasingly frustrated that Shannon's case seems to be slipping through the cracks of the police investigation. She finally approves to go to the vigil, but she demands to speak with the families of the victims in advance. Meanwhile, Dormer listens to a recording of Michael's testimony regarding Shannon's relationship with her mother. He reveals that Mari had abandoned Shannon as a child, leading to a life spent in and out of foster homes. He implies that Mari only cares about Shannon's financial situation rather than her well-being. Mari meets with the families of other victims, and they share their common experiences regarding their loved ones. They express their pain, forming a supportive bond. During their conversation, Mari expresses her frustration that the police aren't actively searching for their loved ones, emphasizing that the bodies were found only by chance. Mari successfully convinces the families of the other victims to take action, leading them to Brewer's house, but they find no one home. Suddenly, Sarah spots Shannon's earrings on the ground outside. Commissioner Dormer arrives and confronts Mari, informing her that they are on private property. Frustrated with the situation, Mari remains convinced that Shannon and her belongings are connected to this location, but Dormer is doubtful. One night, Mari receives a call from a man named Joe Scalise, Brewer's neighbor, who claims to have information for her. The two went at a secluded spot where Brewer keeps his supplies. When a vehicle approaches, they quickly hide. Joe tells Mari that Brewer didn't kill Shannon and then mentions a familiar name. At that moment, Mari suddenly remembers the doctor who called her on that morning, Dr. Peter Hackett. She tells Dormer this information because she thinks it might be important for the investigation, especially since she saw burlap close to his house, which might be related to the 4 skeletons that were earlier discovered. Cher discovers that Sarah is taking a mood stabilizer, revealing that her sister is struggling with a serious mental health issue. Although Cher is concerned for Sarah's well-being, Mari chooses not to discuss it with her. Mari continues her investigation independently, visiting an Oak Beach resident who claims he saw Shannon that night and insists she appeared to be heavily drugged. Mari also notices a security camera mounted on a post nearby. However, when she checks where the footage should be stored, she is told that there is no recording from that night. Finally, Mari meets Dr. Hackett, the man she has been seeking for some time. Desperate for answers, she confronts him about his phone call to her, but Dr. Hackett feigns confusion, denying any knowledge of it. Later, they discover that Dr. Hackett is responsible for the security camera footage, and that he admitted to Commissioner Dormer he had withheld this footage from the police. This revelation deepens suspicions that Dr. Hackett may be involved in Shannon's disappearance. Joe continues giving Mari advice, hinting strongly that Dr. Hackett's behavior is suspicious. He mentions that Hackett's so-called home for wayward girls might actually be his graveyard. As Shannon remains missing, Joe insists that her body could be hidden on Dr. Hackett's property, specifically in the marshy area behind his house. He points out that this is the one place the police have yet to investigate, adding a chilling sense of urgency to Mari's search for her daughter. One day, Mari sees a news report announcing that Dormer's team has decided to exclude Shannon from their main case. They reason that her arrival in Oak Beach with a driver does not align with the profiles of the other victims. While they will still look for Shannon, she will no longer be considered part of the ongoing case. Cher confronts her mother again, frustrated that Mari keeps important information about her 2 sisters to herself, ignoring that she has another daughter who is open and willing to listen. During their tense exchange, Cher learns that Shannon was bipolar, which sheds light on why Sarah also struggles with mental health issues. Following their confrontation, the scene shifts to Cher attending a vigil with other victims' families, while Mari isolates herself, sitting alone in her car wrestling with her thoughts and feelings. After this difficult period, a year passes since the incident, marking a somber milestone in their ongoing search for answers. Joe is still reaching out to Mari. This time, he informs her that Dr. Hackett has put his house up for sale, urging her to confront him immediately if she wants answers. When Mari meets Dr. Hackett, possibly for the last time, he avoids her for speaking up, dodging any explanation as to why he withheld the security footage or why he called her on the day Shannon went missing. His evasiveness leaves Mari without closure, fueling her suspicion further. Determined to get action, Mari approaches Commissioner Dormer, who is now on the brink of retirement. She confronts him, demanding to know why the marsh in Oak Beach, the last place Shannon was seen and where Dr. Hackett lives, has never been searched. Dormer, however, remains convinced that Dr. Hackett is innocent. Infuriated, Mari accuses him and the department of failing to search thoroughly for Shannon, seeing it as either a cover-up or sheer incompetence. She threatens to take her story to the media if the marsh isn't investigated. Mari's words seem to strike a nerve. Even in retirement, Dormer is compelled to take action and joins the effort to finally search the marsh. As Mari makes her way to the marsh, she is filled with mixed emotions, particularly when she sees the other vehicles involved in the search effort. Upon arriving, she is greeted by Lorraine, who is there to support her, ensuring that Mari doesn't feel alone in her fight. Though Mari holds on to the hope of finding Shannon, she is also prepared for the possibility that her daughter may not be there. In a pivotal moment, the search team discovers Shannon's belongings. Mari returns to the tent, and as soon as she locks eyes with Cher, her daughter senses that something has gone horribly wrong. Overwhelmed by emotion, Mari begins to break down, the weight of the moment crashing over her. The following morning, the grim reality sets in when they finally uncover Shannon's skeleton. The movie concludes with Mari's relentless pursuit of justice leaving an indelible mark on the community, inspiring other families to continue their own battles for justice and highlighting the importance of perseverance in the face of tragedy. Since this movie is inspired by real-life events, the ending features a text revealing what happened to Mari's family. An autopsy of Shannon's remains contradicted the police's theory that she died from drug exposure, as the findings indicated injuries consistent with homicidal strangulation. To this day, no suspects have been charged in the case. Additionally, phone records later confirmed that Dr. Hackett had indeed called Mari. In 2016, Sarah experienced a psychotic episode after discontinuing her schizophrenia medication. In an attempt to intervene, Mari sustained fatal injuries, which ultimately led to her death. Meanwhile, Cher has become an advocate for Shannon, tirelessly continuing the fight for justice in her sister's memory. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe for more exciting content. Turn on notifications so you never miss an update. See you in the next one.